You're listening to useleyradio.com. You just tuned into our show that we have every Sunday from 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 to 5. You're joining us from the East Coast. We are called Sugar, Spice, and Everyday Rice. I'm your DJ, DJ Rice Cooker, also known as Kathy. And today, we don't have our normal co-host, Chinkerbell, because she's off in a scholarship reception. I'm super proud of her, so congratulations to her. If you ever bump into her during Greenwalk, be sure to say hi and congrats. But instead, we have a wonderful guest today, my friend, a fellow student, and musical extraordinaire, Thomas. Thomas, can you tell us more about yourself?
Hi, I'm Thomas Fang. I'm a third-year music composition student here at UCLA. Yeah, that's pretty much my life.
What made you decide to go into music?
I don't know. It's funny, like, people ask that question, and it's just the sort of thing that kind of happens, you know, like you're young and like you don't think about it and you're just, before you know it, you're on a path to being a musician. So I just, you know, as an Asian kid, being young, my parents wanted me to play piano and I hated it. So I quit lessons. And then after that, it got really interesting. So I just kept playing and did my thing, and here I am.
You quit lessons, let me get it right, and then you kept playing.
Yeah, because it was more interesting when I didn't have a teacher. I could sort of play what I wanted. That, like, it's funny that I really got into it after I quit lessons.
Wow, yeah, it seems like you had more chances to explore what you were truly interested in versus...
Yeah, and, like, I found, you know, as I've had more teachers since, like, the best teachers are the ones that encourage, you know, that, like, push you to explore in the directions you're interested in. I think, like, when you're young and start piano lessons, like, it's hard both for the student to know what they're interested in and for the teacher to know what the student needs. So it just, you know, I didn't have a teacher that, like, really fostered my imagination so much.
Gotcha.
She tried, but, you know, like, it just didn't work out.
And seeing as this is a show about Asian American interest, I was kind of wondering, since I'm not from the musical world, how Asian Americans are received in that sort of field.
It depends on who you ask. Like, classical music is, as far as I know, like, is pretty well cultivated now in Asia, in China especially, and in Japan. You know, they have big orchestras and, you know, very well-known music schools. There's that, but there's also, like, noticeable outcropping of young Asian performers.
What do you mean by that last part?
Like, in, like, the last 25, 30 years, there have been, like, you know, really famous Asian pianists coming on the scene, and violinists and cellists. We can all name an Asian pianist and an Asian cellist and an Asian violinist, or multiple. And, I mean, you know, we have stereotypes about how we're, like, all technicality and no emotion, which I think is a stupid distinction to make in the first place. But, you know, stereotypes exist for a reason too. Like, I can see why, like, we would have that image, culturally speaking.
I guess so. I mean, overall, when we are received in Western culture, we're shown as less emotionally capable of expressing our opinions and more passive. I don't know if that whole stereotype can apply to the whole Asian American Pacific Islander community because we're just so diverse, but I can see where that comes from.
Well, yeah. I mean, everyone has a stereotype of wherever they're not from. That's kind of inevitable, you know, like, I think people from America who don't know anything about Asian culture should, you know, live a while in Asia and just see it for themselves where they're the minority for once. You know, the Asian American experiences in America is kind of weird because you're raised American, but you're also, you know, like, raised as an Asian, I mean, to varying degree depending on your family. But, like, yeah, I don't have a lot of, like, coherent thoughts about it, but it's interesting to see, like, where these two very different cultures sort of collide.
Yeah, I think that's very fascinating.
I mean, I assume that's, like, what you talk about on the show all the time anyway, so, like, I'm really not saying anything important.
No, what are you talking about? This is important. Everyone's got their own output about what they grew up with.
It's not like I have anything fully formed to share about it. Like, we all have thoughts and we all have our own experience.
Well, for example, we both grew up in the Bay Area, but in kind of different communities, even though we're about 20, 30 minutes away.
That's true.
How would you describe Fremont versus San Jose and the rest of the Bay Area? Is it representative?
Well, I don't know San Jose well enough. Fremont, at least the part of Fremont where I was from, was very heavily Asian. There are a lot of SAT prep places, that's like, there's like one on every corner, just like in Paris, there's a bakery on every corner.
Wow.
An SAT prep place on every corner where I'm from. Maybe just like the small district where I'm from, but
That's something we never touched upon. We never talked about how.
SAT prep.
Yes. I know they exist.
Dark times.
I know they definitely exist, but I've never been through it. Have you?
Yeah, I went through my junior summer before my junior year of high school. It was just, like a thing that everyone did, and, people give me shit for it here. It's like, I just did it because it was part of what we did in my community.
Yeah, I wouldn't give you any problems with that because usually it's not the kid who wants it, but the parents. What is it like?
Totally complicit.
What did they have you do every week?
It was every day, actually.
What?
Over the
Really?
summer. Yeah. It was
That is
every day.
crazy.
It was like 8 to whatever the fuck time. Sorry, am I allowed to curse on radio?
Yes, go ahead.
Sweet.
We're not censored at all. We're on the internet after all.
Okay, well, then whatever. I think it was 8 to 12 every day.
Holy
over the summer.
guacamole.
Yeah, I mean, it was something. We had alternating days and periods. I don't remember exactly. Of like, we had a teacher for writing. We had a teacher for math. We had a teacher for reading, verbal skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we had like practice tests every Monday.
Was there any social time built into this, or
We
was
had
it
like
complete study?
We had like we had a break in the middle. They gave us snacks. There was always that one kid who would fill his pockets with the hot Cheetos.
Now, why is that?
I don't know. He was just him, like,
Hot Cheetos was his ish, I guess.
Or, whatever was in the snack bowl, he would like dash to the front of the line, stuff his massive hoodie unipocket with whatever he could.
I'm a little bit worried about that. Maybe
was
his
just
parents didn't let him eat sweets or junk food at home.
I don't know. He was who he was. I think he goes here now, so maybe I shouldn't say too much about it.
Well, we don't know his name, and I think this is anonymous enough.
Yeah.
I remember I used to eat unhealthy food all the time. We had waited in front of the snack line at school during our break/recess, and we'd always get a bag of hot Cheetos and cream cheese. What a weird combination it sounds like, but it's actually pretty delicious.
I saw a recipe online for a hot Cheeto and kale sandwich. It sounds so delicious and also completely disgusting.
Now, is kale supposed to make it slightly healthier, or what does it do? Add flavor to it?
Just to add irony. I have no clue. It sounds like it would taste actually pretty good. Flavor, texture, nutrition. There's also cheese in it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's
like a cheese, kale, hot Cheetos sandwich.
Are you planning to make it anytime soon?
No. I don't think I could be able to handle it. And also, it's just never on like the top of my priorities.
Yeah.
I wouldn't object to eating one if someone else made me one.
I'll just watch someone eat it and vicariously live through them. I'll be like, bite it, savor it, pretend that it's really, really good so I can pretend that I'm you and I'm enjoying it without enjoying all the calories that are associated with it.
Yeah.
But I tell myself sometimes fatty foods such as hot Cheetos and chips aren't so bad because I read recently that fats are actually better to ingest versus sugars.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
I will just eat a whole bunch of meat and fatty stuff. I wouldn't really care.
As someone who ingests a lot of fats and sugars, I guess this is just validation that I'm totally doing okay.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
I know that I've been trying to work out more, and the fact that we have an awesome gym here helps us, but after we graduate, it's not going to be that easy.
Yeah, it's not even that easy when you're in school and you have things to do.
Yeah.
Every quarter is always, like, this is the quarter, I'm going to go to the gym, and then you never go. It's been that way for maybe, like, the past 2.5 years I've been here.
I totally understand. Sometimes I mean to go to the gym, I start dressing up and everything, and then I go on my phone, and before you know it, 5 minutes pass, 10 minutes, an hour, and I'm still playing on my apps and everything.
See, the trick is you go to the gym, and, like, while you're working out, you play on your phone.
Well,
so that's the way to do it.
That's a bit counterproductive. I've seen people do that.
It's not necessarily counterproductive. Like, you can be on your phone while working on your legs.
It's slower. I mean, you wouldn't really do it as intensely. You have to multitask. I'm kind of jealous because I see people reading inside the gym with their books and while they're going on the treadmill. I just don't know how they do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would never take a book to the gym. It's just too noisy. But, like, I could see playing on the phone. I text while I'm working out sometimes.
Gotcha.
But only, like, when I receive a text. So it's not, like, chronic.
I think it's a thought process. You have to think carefully. Is it worth the text right now? Can I text later? Who is it? What's my list of priorities right now?
Yeah, it's like my thought process for literally every single text.
So, have you ever checked out those phone apps by any chance?
No, I have a Windows phone. I'm ashamed to say. Actually, I'm not ashamed to say.
Don't be ashamed.
A Windows phone is awesome. I get a lot of flack for having a Windows phone. But no, I haven't. It depends on which app. But most, like My Idol, like you were talking about that yesterday. Like I've seen the Instagrams, I've seen the Facebook posts. I haven't experienced it for myself.
Well, during our commercial break, our musical break, we could definitely snap a picture of you and put it up.
Oh, God.
We don't have to publish it anywhere, but just for your own reference.
All right.
It's so much fun.
I've always wanted my own My Idol, and now my dreams are coming true.
Yeah, and then you can make it do whatever you want. Sing Chinese karaoke, become a stripper.
Oh my God, I've always wanted to be a stripper.
Yeah, I haven't seen many male strippers out there, but now you can be one.
Well, okay.
Without embarrassing your parents too much.
Too much.
Well, that's given if they even see the My Idol app.
I have a feeling they would. They'd be the kind of people that would know what My Idol is, but who's to say?
Savvy parents, though.
Well, they're just Asian.
I don't think my dad. Yeah, my dad's still on his flip phone, and for the longest time, I was too.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, there's no discrimination here. You do what you gotta do, and honestly, I was way more productive my freshman year when I didn't have a smartphone.
I like to think that I was more productive when I didn't have a smartphone, but I think it's just I've redistributed my BS time.
I definitely agree here.
Yes.
But going back on the phone, I kind of wonder what would happen if my iPhone ever got stolen. Would I just replace it with another one, or would I go back to one of those simple phones that don't have anything?
It depends on how much money I would have in the bank. I would just... Well, one, I'd try to find my old phone, but aren't there, like, locate your phone applications?
Yeah.
Weren't you telling me about this?
Yeah. That's a great way to transition onto our next topic,
Yes,
which is
very smooth.
this app called Find My iPhone. Earlier this week, I was looking at the most popular apps because I was looking at My Idol, and apparently Find My iPhone is one of the most popular. I've seen people download it, but it just never occurred to me that I needed it. I tried to download it, but unfortunately, since I don't have a new iOS 8, it wouldn't work.
Oh, that's lame.
And I'm kind of trying to balance the pros and cons of upgrading just so I could have that app.
For one, you'd be able to find your phone if it ever got stolen.
Yes, I would. That would be very useful just in case something happens. I'm scared my phone will just break because it seems like every single time a new iPhone comes out, it's set to destruct within a year or two, and I don't have my warranty anymore, so it's scary.
Damn you, Apple.
Yeah, you're just taking more and more of our money. But yeah, I know we were talking about that app earlier. I just pulled up this page from iTunes where people post their reviews, and it seems like a lot of them, they just don't even comment on their app. They're telling their story about how I lost my iPhone.
That's fantastic.
Do you have the time to read one?
Yeah, for sure. You tell me which one.
What's the title of this one?
You want me to read the last one down here?
Yeah, sure.
My Find My iPhone story by Miggy555. Okay. I lost my iPhone on New Year's Eve at a friend's party. Thanks to the Find My iPhone app, I located my phone today at January 6th, 2015 at some stranger's house. I knocked on their door, and when they opened it, I hit the play sound icon and heard it ringing in their house. The woman let me in, but didn't want to let me leave with my phone.
Oh dear. ...
She said if the guy whose room it was in, who wasn't home, paid for it on the street, someone owes him money. Lol, I was like, is she for real? Like 5 question marks. Then again, she was renting rooms illegally, so yeah, she would be worried about street money. I told her I bought my phone with my legitimate, hard-earned legal money, and I'm taking my phone. She's lucky I didn't call the INS. Anyhow, I did call the local police before going, but they didn't think I needed an escort. But they did arrive when the woman didn't want me to take my phone, but she talked to the guy whose room it was in via telephone, and when he heard the cops were there, he said he found it. The end result was I got my iPhone. Thank you, Apple.
Oh! At least Apple is helping some people secure their items. It's pretty shady because
it's super shady because, wherever this phone goes, it's like, you never know.
Exactly. It seems like a lot of these reviews, people are trying to cover their butts by saying, oh, I just happened to find your iPhone and I was charging it so that I could give it to you.
For sure. Yeah, I've heard some other stories about computers.
I'm really glad that during high school I did not get any Apple products because they were stolen left and right, and I feel so bad for the kids who had those.
I went to the kind of high school. I remember this one story. It was someone. I think there was like an iPhone that was left out, and with like headphones or earbuds or whatever. And when the owner came back, the iPhone was not stolen, but the headphones were stolen.
That is kind of funny.
That's where I come from.
Maybe this person knew that there was such an app, and if they stole the headphones, it'd be harder to track down.
I guess, or maybe I don't know. Maybe they already had an iPhone. Maybe they just wanted the headphones.
I have a story similar to that.
Yeah.
My friend's car got stolen.
Crazy.
Couldn't find it. A week later, someone called them on the phone, said their car was in a certain location. They went over there with the AAA service provider, unlocked the car, picked it up, realized everything was still normal. Even like the cassette and all the musical stuff is still there. I don't know what you call them. But what was stolen was all her Hello Kitty gear. Her seat cushion, her, what do you call those things hanging from the mirror, and just like everything Hello Kitty. But everything else was back in perfect condition.
Really wanted the Hello Kitty stuff.
Exactly. It reminds me of the headphone. You don't steal the main object, you steal the accessories.
Right.
Because who's going to track you down?
Identifying evidence or whatever. But, I mean, you still have the license plate. That's weird. People are inexplicable. I just don't understand.
I don't know either. And somewhere out there on Amazon, I'm pretty sure that's been sold.
Well, maybe. Was it worth very much?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to ask my friend about that later.